All right, mic check 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Did it work? Does the sound okay? You ready to go, Kelvin?
Yes, sir. Whenever you
All right. Thank you guys for being here with us today as we take a step toward justice for the family of the late Trooper Daryl Brown Sr. Trooper Brown lived from November 28, 1960 until August 8, 2024. He was an exceedingly good man. I'll provide a few more details on him in a few minutes. As you all know, we're limited in what we can cover, what we can say about the litigation. While the lawyers here, Blake and I, will be happy to answer any questions that you have, our client, Mrs. Lucille Brown, who we're honored to have here with us today, will not be answering any questions. Blake will walk through the facts of the recently filed complaint, but I want to first spend a few minutes telling you about the late Trooper Brown. Before I do that, though, I want to thank my colleague and an indispensable part of this law firm, Chief Ken Swindle, for his excellent work that he's done on the case so far and the work that you'll continue to do on it. Trooper Brown, like I said, was a good man, the kind that does not come around very often. He enjoyed his family, his yard, especially those rose bushes that had so many admirers, and his extended state trooper family. Known for his huge and warm smile, he was president of the 1979 senior class at Brighton High School in Jefferson County, but he quickly adapted to what he called the country life in Sumter County, where Mrs. Lucille grew up. Folks back home in Brighton knew him as Big, and that nickname continued in various ways with his family. He enjoyed a tremendous amount of respect within the Sumter County community and also here in Tuscaloosa and beyond. He was beloved by his fellow troopers. He was a mentor and friend to those colleagues for over 28 years, and even after he retired, he stayed in contact with so many of them. As a state trooper, Trooper Brown was a rule follower, but he also knew when it was time to be lenient with those he pulled over. He believed in grace and mercy. Along those lines, listen to the story of Daryl and his prayer bottles. Lucille tells me that Daryl would spend hours on the floor with his laptop, sitting and typing out scriptures and prayers. He would take a prescription bottle and he would insert that prescription bottle and he would insert a prayer, scriptures, a wooden cross, a penny, which signifies in God we trust, and a mustard seed, which, as we all know, is a symbol of faith and the potential for growth and influence, even from small beginnings. He gave them to friends and strangers alike, to folks on top of the world and those down on their luck, to people who were sick and those that were healthy. That's just who Trooper Brown was. His family misses him greatly. He left behind his devoted wife of 41 years, Lucille Brown, 2 sons who were extremely close to their father, Daryl Jr. and Cord, 2 grandchildren who terribly missed their grandpa, 4 siblings whom he loved dearly, his in-laws with whom he was extremely close and who taught him that country life of hunting and fishing, nieces and nephews to which he was a proud Uncle Big D, cousins and friends. He was a true man of the people and was loved by all. His family reminds me each time we talk of what a wonderful husband and dad he was and how much they all miss him. While his earthly life is over, his impact and legacy are far from over. 9 months now after his death, friends are still coming up to Mrs. Lucille in the grocery store with tears in their eyes, stopping her on her way home or wherever they can find her, and expressing yet another Daryl Brown story, something usually to do with how he got them straight or provided encouragement to them in their darkest hour. Psalm 116:15 was part of the homecoming celebration for Brown, and it's very appropriate. It says, "Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints." Thank you for being here today. Blake, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Josh. Good morning. My name is Blake Williams. I'm also an attorney with Prince Glover Hayes. I want to share with you some of the unfortunate facts that have led us to this point today. But first, before I do that, I want to also say a word to Miss Lucille and to the Brown family. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to represent you and to be able to represent your family in this matter. We do not take lightly the trust that you've placed in us. We look forward to continuing to work hard on this case on behalf of the Brown family and Trooper Brown. On August the 8th of 2024, Daryl Wayne Brown Sr. was driving a 2012 Hyundai Accent traveling north in the right lane on I-59 in Tuscaloosa County on his way to work that morning. At approximately 6 a.m., Darren Michael Crooks was driving a 2011 Mazda 6S Touring Plus, also traveling north in the left lane on I-59. Mr. Crooks was traveling recklessly in a high rate of speed. He attempted to change lanes without proper clearance, and he violently struck Trooper Brown's vehicle. According to the download of the event data recorder, Mr. Crooks was traveling at a speed of 107 miles per hour 5 seconds before crashing into Trooper Brown's vehicle. At the time of impact with Trooper Brown, Mr. Crooks was traveling 104 miles per hour. Based on the information that we currently know, Mr. Crooks was intoxicated at the time of the collision and has been charged criminally with manslaughter. Now, that charge is merely an accusation, and the law says that Mr. Crooks is innocent until proven guilty. Now, after this initial collision, Trooper Brown's vehicle was struck and hit a guardrail, was rendered disabled in the right lane on the highway there. There was a professional truck driver by the name of Luis Humberto Garcia, who is an employee of defendant Bravo Express Transportation Company. He was also traveling north that day on I-59. The Bravo Express tractor trailer that was driven by Mr. Garcia slammed into Trooper Brown's vehicle. Mr. Garcia, based on information that we currently know, was following too closely and caused the collision with Trooper Brown's vehicle. Based on information that we currently know, Mr. Garcia had time to avoid the impact with Trooper Brown's vehicle, but because of his actions and inactions did not do so. An independent witness there at the scene reported that the tractor trailer never braked before impact, which indicates some sort of distraction on the driver's part. Now, as a result of these collisions, Trooper Brown wrongfully lost his life, and his wife and family have had him ripped from their lives, which is an immeasurable loss of an exceedingly good man, as Josh discussed just a few minutes ago. The cause of his death was multiple blunt force injuries to his chest and neck. Now, following this fatality, and as is customary procedure in these type of fatality cases, there were various vehicle and scene inspections that took place, and information has also been requested from all the parties involved, which includes Bravo Express and Mr. Garcia. Now, unfortunately, there has not been cooperation from Bravo Express or Mr. Garcia in providing any of that information which has been requested. That information would include things such as video footage inside and outside of the cab, cell phones that were in the cab, sources of distraction, various information that operators of tractor trailers are supposed to keep according to the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, logs of their driving time, inspection reports and maintenance reports of the tractor trailer, Mr. Garcia's qualification file, which can include things like his application, his fitness to drive, his driving history, his employment history. All those are things that are required to be kept. We have not been able to to see any of that information as of the filing of this complaint. In addition, we sent preservation letters to the parties involved. We sent those to Bravo Express and to Mr. Garcia, requesting that this information and other various items of information that are required to be kept, that they be retained and that they provide us with copies. Multiple preservation letters have been sent, and to date, we have not received any of that information that has been requested. As Josh said a minute ago, we are limited in talking and what we can talk about today beyond what was in the complaint, but we look forward to the discovery process. We look forward to learning more information as we move forward. So with that, I will open it up to any questions.
Blake or Josh, either one of you, what has Mr. Brown's death done to his family? What state has it left his loved ones in?
Thank you for asking that question. It's hard to describe just how deeply impactful his death has been. He was an integral part of all of their lives. He talked to his sons daily. He was very involved in his grandkids' lives. He and his wife are as close as any married couple I've heard about or been around. There are not enough words for me to describe it. Through God's grace, they're getting through it, but they're never going to get over it.
The lawsuit was just filed on Friday. Is this a situation where all of the other parties would be brought in and it's one big civil case together, or could this be several separate cases, basically?
No, it'll all be the same case. Of course, Crooks has his criminal case going. This is a civil case that will proceed right here in Tuscaloosa Circuit Court.
You're still seeking information in this case. From what you know to this point, what could have prevented this fatal accident from happening in the first place?
Well, the information will tell us a lot that we don't know, but what we do know is that the truck apparently did not brake until impact. Like Blake mentioned, that speaks to inattention, distraction. We'll know a lot more when we have the information that they're already required to have and that they have yet to fork over.
How soon are you hoping to get that information? I know that you said you've already requested.
Yeah.
When is the deadline for them to provide that?
They have to get that to us within 40 days of being served with the lawsuit, 45 days of being served with the lawsuit. They don't always comply. We'll stay on them and get the court involved if we need to get what we need.
You can't put a value on a life.
Right.
At this point, do you know what you're seeking for his family?
There would never be enough money to replace Trooper Brown, of course. No amount of money would she have taken not to have to go through that. There is simply no amount of money enough that could ever be rendered. We're going to trust the judgment of a Tuscaloosa County jury, see how the case tries, and at some point we will be asking for significant punitive damages.
What message are you hoping to send out about this unfortunate situation?
Yeah, thanks for asking that question. You know, it's dangerous being on the roadways. It's dangerous being on the roadways with 18-wheelers. We all have a duty to assume, we all have a duty to follow the law, but we also have, the law says that we can assume that other people are also following the law. That's what the law says. Unfortunately, these days, I don't think we can assume that anymore. We must all assume that everybody's distracted in every other vehicle. You know, one message I know Miss Lucille would want me to give is to hug your loved ones tight. Be sure to tell them you love them every time, just like she and Trooper Brown did. Never forget to tell the ones that you care about how much they mean to you.
Mrs. Brown is here, but you've asked her not to speak. But my question to you in regards to what you've talked to her and other family members about, this is just the beginning of what could be a much longer process.
Right.
What have you told them as far as what to expect with the time frame of this, and already reliving that day over and over again, especially as you get closer either to a settlement or taking this case to trial?
Yeah, they know it's going to be a long process. The thing about it is, whether this lawsuit is going or not, she still grieves for Daryl every day. She'll never get over it, like I mentioned. The boys won't either. But they're not trying to get over it because they're not trying to forget about it. You know, great love causes great grief, and that's the situation exactly what we're in here. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you all.